What's going on, my fellow troops? My name is Xavvo, and welcome to a brand new video. So today we are going to be, of course, as you could read from the title and see from the thumbnail, we are going to be getting the Afterlife Camo in Black Ops 6 Zombies. It has been quite some time, I know. I've spent maybe 5-6 months on this grind. It didn't really require 5 months, honestly, but I dragged it out. I took it at an easy pace. But today is the day we're going to go for it, because obviously, as you might have seen from the last video, which was me unlocking Opal for the melees, in doing so, I have now, as you can see, unlocked the ability to start working on this camo. So this camo is obviously going to ask me on every weapon to get 20 or more consecutive kills 10 times without taking damage. So I guess we're just going to start today. It's the 25th of May, and I'll get to you when I'm done, and I'll basically tell you what date it will be when I'm finished with these 33 weapons. So I'll roll the montage now, I suppose. We'll roll the montage, and yeah, we'll get to the inspects shortly after that. So let's get into this.
It's montage time!
Okay guys, so now let's get into the weapon inspects. So as always, we start with the assault rifles and we work our way for every single weapon. I also want to mention as well, there is no webcam. Now obviously, if you've been around this channel long enough, you know why. It's simply just because I don't want the webcam to obscure these lovely, beautiful inspects that we have going on the screen. So that's all that is for. But anyway, let's get into like the main discussion and let's talk about the weapons. So on the screen, we have all of the base weapons that I have done in the game, which is all 33. With these kind of modern grinds, you can always swap out base weapons now for DLCs if you don't want to do certain weapon classes. It all comes down to you finishing 33 weapons in total for the grind, but I just happen to be the kind of guy, as you might have seen from my channel if you've been around here a long time, I'm the kind of guy that just does the base weapons anyway, because I just find it easier to do the base grind that would have been in the game
when the game came out and then focus on the other ones afterwards. I don't really like having to mess about, putting things in different orders and all that kind of stuff. Having got Opal on all the weapon classes and now having done this, I'm gonna say the time that it took me just to do these Afterlife camos was basically 2 days or less. I mean, in-game time, not too sure how long it took, but I started on the 25th, and it is now the it's the 28th now at midnight, but I finished this on the 27th, so it took about 2 days or less, so it's not super difficult, but what I will say is the challenges are a bit frustrating, because whilst they might seem simple on the surface, because it's only asking you to get 20 consecutive kills without taking damage, that is the annoying part. It's the not taking damage part, and let me tell you, there were some weapons that were just way worse to do than others, and it doesn't really help that this game has this system now where if you back away from zombies that are coming towards you and you happen to enter a different segment of the map, they'll start forcing zombies to respawn out of those climbing spots instead of just letting the zombies carry on walking after you that you've rounded up in front of you. So half of the time I'm getting hit, it's because I've got zombies just spawning up the back of my ass out of nowhere, and that's why some of these weapons are going to be even worse than others to do, because some weapons in the grind have slower reloads. Some of them are like the melees, require you to be very up close to zombies, making it borderline impossible unless you're using the Citadel oil trap. So the main weapons I would say are the worst to do are going to be, of course, the melees. I had to use the oil trap for them because I just literally couldn't stomach that shit. I was spending hours just trying to finish the knife alone. And I'd say the other worst weapon class there was to do, I was actually surprised it wasn't the snipers. I'm not gonna lie, the snipers were actually alright, especially with the LR762 having explosive tips. I just had to fire them at the floor and blow them up. But also the launchers were not bad either. Launchers were really fun. I think the only other bad class to do was probably the marksman rifles or the LMGs. It was one of those two, just because of their reload or because of their slow fire rate pattern, making them not very strong for a good amount of the game, which really sucks. Honestly, most of these challenges are going to be easily done once your weapon is upwards of Pack-a-Punch 1 or 2, because at the beginning, yeah, you're only going to be good for like the first round or two, and then after that, the guns just don't do as much damage to zombies, and there's more of them spawning about, so you have to be more wary of your surroundings. But anyway, that is the general discussion around the challenges. They're really not that difficult once you get past the whole not getting hit part, and, you know, of course, the oil trap on Citadel de Morts can speed this up by tenfold. It's just that I wanted to have a more interesting, you know, montage to look at other than me just sitting in an oil trap, which, by the way, if you guys did like the montage, be sure to smash a like. It'd be greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, anyway, so let's talk about the camo. Is the camo itself worth going for? And I actually have to say, yes, it definitely is. At first, I was considering saying no, because when I was first going for like the whole nebula thing and I was looking at this camo, I was thinking this looks kind of mid, like it's alright, I guess, with like the glowing ritual kind of logos on it and the cracks and stuff, but I didn't realize just how gorgeous this camo was until you actually get in game. As you can see, I've showed a mix of me in daylight and a mix of me in some kind of more sheltered areas, and as you can see, there's actually a secondary pattern going on with like kind of starry patterns moving, as well as the cracks that glow and the moving ritual kind of logos. It really looks like as though it was inspired by Exclusion Zone from Modern Warfare Remastered, mixed with some sort of bundle blueprint that they've had in one of the older Call of Duties, I think a few years ago, because it looks very familiar, and the glowing stuff and all this kind of movement looks obviously inspired by the other mastery camos that they've got going on with all this movement. A little bit, actually. It does look a lot like MW2's zombie grind that was added into MW3, that grind. The camo I'm actually thinking of is bioluminescent. That camo, it really does look a lot like bioluminescent from MW3, with that kind of starry, simple look on the underneath layers. But yeah, I have to say, definitely was worth going for, and I think at the end of the day, the fact that they're making the grinds a little bit more easier is better for me, because I'm personally not playing a lot of COD these days. I just don't happen to come on to the game that much, so I'm actually kind of glad it didn't take me that long to do these 33 weapons. But anyway, so let's now talk about the grind ahead. Of course, we've got the Nebula camo to go for now, and that's going to absolutely blow cheeks, because if you've looked at the specifications for those challenges, they're not exactly very fun. They're quite time-consuming, in fact, so I might even take a few weeks before you see the next video for the Nebula part of the grind. But that being said, I think really that's the only thing ahead of me right now is just the Nebula grind. I'm not thinking of other camo grinds. I really don't want to think of other camo grinds. I've been dragging this one out for a reason, because I'm just tired of camo grinding after all these years. Plus, I've also got all of the DLC weapons for multiplayer to carry on doing for Dark Matter, because there's been tons of weapons added to the game since I last touched multiplayer, and there's obviously the rest of the DLCs here to do for this grind as well. But there you go. So anyway, if you guys did enjoy, be sure to drop a like on the video, leave me a comment down below, and of course check out all the other links and everything else down below in the description. But other than that, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye guys.